Welcome to Screen Riot, the show where we let fate choose the movie we review each week. This week's movie is 2014's The Signal. This episode contains major spoilers, so if you want to join along in the conversation, just go ahead and pause, go check out the movie real quick, and then come back to us, because this is Screen Riot. Alright, so last week we spun the wheel, and the name landed on Sir Edward over here. And Eddie, what genre did you spin?
Mystery.
Yeah, mystery was
mystery.
The genre. Yeah, and so you decided to go with 2014's The Signal.
Yep.
Which stars Lawrence Fishburne,
Brenton
Thwaites.
Yeah.
Olivia Cooke.
Patrick Davidson.
I'm really bad with names. I'm really sorry.
No, you're good. Olivia Cooke, by the way, was in Ready Player One.
Yes.
She was the girl, what's her name?
That's why she looked familiar.
Artemis.
She was Artemis.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. Well, so quick question. Why The Signal?
Honestly, I don't know. It's just it's an interesting movie to me. There's certain parts about it that don't make a lot of sense, that are strange. Like when I think about movies that are mysterious but also contain a mystery as far as the plot line goes, this is one of them. You know, at the end of the movie, you still leave it questioning, like, okay, what did I watch just now? You know what I mean?
Where were you when you first encountered
The Signal.
The Signal. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know where I got that movie from. I think maybe Redbox. This was
you got it from
2014.
Redbox?
Yeah, this was 2014. Like they released it, I think, on Redbox, and I was still checking movies out.
That's true. It was
Back
6
in
years
my
ago.
day.
Yeah, from Redbox.
Monday? We had
Yeah.
to go to a store and
Who
pick up
does
a
that
tape,
anymore?
And it was only 6 years ago.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
To put money in a machine. What's money, Daddy?
Yeah, 15 years ago, I met my wife at a Blockbuster. So I mean,
Oh.
yeah.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
she,
pretty cool.
She was
Nice.
working at Blockbuster. It's a great story, actually. You got a second?
Yeah, sure.
So she was working at Blockbuster, and she'd only been working there like maybe 2 weeks. But apparently her schedule, and when I went in, even though I was going in 3 to 5 times a day because I was a loser with no life, we never managed to meet up until the time that we met. Well, Blockbuster was across the street from my house, and I went there so often that most of the people that worked there knew me just by my face. So I'd be able to basically walk in and say, you know, hey, I want this movie. And they would just go, okay, cool, Eddie, no problem. They would type my name into the computer, hit checked out, and I'd walk it across the street and then walk it back later. Well, because she was new, they had like impressed upon her, listen, you got to use the cards. You know, if they don't have a card, don't check any movies out to them, etc. So I come to the counter and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm getting this movie. And she's like, do you have your card? And I was like, no, I'd never have my card. I live there. You can actually see my house from here. And she's like, well, I can't check it out to you unless you have a card. I was like, listen, everyone here knows me. I was like, her, over here, the manager. Tell her you know me and tell her to leave me the hell alone. So the manager goes, yeah, he's okay. Which apparently later on my wife told me pissed her off to no end. Like
Really?
she was so upset at that point. So I left, took the movie, went and watched it, came back 2 or 3 hours later. She was gone, but the manager was still there. And she's like, hey, you know the girl here who was here earlier? And I'm like, yeah, what the hell was her problem anyway? And she's like, well, first off, you know, we had told her to worry about the card thing, etc. I was like, yeah, I just didn't appreciate it. And she was like, well, she thought you were cute. And I was like, well, you can give her my number.
Wow.
I'm not going to
She
stay.
had your number in the system.
I'm not going to stay angry long. Took her like a week
rest
later.
is history.
Yeah, it took her like a week later to call me, but you know. we
So
ended up
did
going
you
on a date.
return her in time, or did you have to pay a Blockbuster fee, a late fee?
I never paid late fees. Even when I returned them late, I still didn't pay late fees.
You rebel.
Yeah, well, no, they just were like, oh, it's no problem. I was literally there, like, no lie, 3 to 5 times a day. Like, I had zero life. I was the way you are with video games still.
Yeah.
So,
Same with I am with now. Anyway.
yeah, I don't mean the loser part. I just mean the video games, like how much you play them.
Oh, I meant both.
Oh, okay.
So anyway, the story of The Signal, it basically follows these 3 college-age friends.
Yep.
Trying to remember their name.
Like-
Nick, Nick, Haley, and Jonah.
Jonah, yep.
And they're driving across country to take Haley. She's going to college. She's going
Yes.
away to college. And Jonah and Haley are a couple.
No,
Right?
Nick and Haley are a couple.
Or sorry, Nick and Haley. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah,
Nick and Haley are a couple.
Nick and Haley are a couple, and Nick is paralyzed.
Well, he's not paralyzed completely. He's got some disease, some degenerative disease that started.
Yeah, they never really
They don't
say
go
what
into
it is,
because
right?
it doesn't matter.
Right.
He was a runner. He was very active and stuff like that. Now he's got this degenerative disease that's starting to eat away at his legs, his
legs,
extremities in particular.
So he has to walk around on crutches.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's his character.
And along the way, Nick and Jonah are pseudo chasing the guy that got them kicked out of MIT.
Yeah.
So
they claim that it was a computer hacker.
Yep. Named Nomad.
Named Nomad.
And
Yeah,
Nomad
that's
is taunting them as they go across the country. And this is very short. What we're describing right now is like 20 minutes of the movie, right?
Yeah.
So 20 minutes of the movie, they're taking Haley across country, and then at the same time, Nick and Jonah are focused on Nomad. And they finally kind of hone in on him. And
Doing some amazing hackery skills in a hotel bathtub.
so hold on, let's
Yeah,
talk
that was
about
odd.
but let's talk about the hacking real fast. So you, Justin, you're kind of known for dabbling in computer stuff. Was the hacking in this movie anywhere near realistic?
So when those scenes come up, I always like kind of like perk up and I like always pay attention. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
like what are they trying to do here? And there's a lot of like quick cuts where they show like close-ups of screens and you just see like IP addresses like scrolling by real quick, and I'm trying to like okay. From the most part, I would say, barring some of the language that they use, yeah.
Okay.
I mean they're trying to trace the guy by doing a trace route and stuff like that, which doesn't really work because if you're a hacker of any kind of sort, you kind of obscurate, whatever that word is.
Oh, obfuscate.
Yeah, obfuscate. That's the word. Where you are and your IP address and all that. You use botnets and stuff for all that.
But remember, Nomad wanted to be found.
Right. That's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. I was
Yeah.
like, but at the time, you don't know that.
Okay.
During the movie.
Yeah.
So when I was watching this, I was like, what? How, they're not going to be able to find this guy, blah, blah, blah.
So other than some language things, like I know they said Linux terminal and
Yeah,
stuff, you
yeah,
wouldn't say that. You would just say terminal.
Yeah, you would just say a terminal window or a terminal console or a console, something like that.
Okay, so other than that, though, they were pretty dead on with the whole hacking thing.
Yeah, from what I
Which
remember, yeah.
I always appreciate. Do you guys remember the movie Heat with Val Kilmer? Mm-hmm. Right. There's a shootout in Heat that is used in training videos for like the military and the SWAT teams and all that kind of stuff because they had been trained by a consultant how to move whenever you're in a shootout.
Yeah.
And now that scene was so good and so technically correct that now they're using that to train other people. I think that's awesome.
That's Michael Mann.
Yeah.
That's the director, Michael Mann. He did it same for I just had it. The movie with Tom Cruise and Fox.
Jamie Foxx?
Jamie Foxx. Collateral. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. See, and I just like it whenever they're doing something technical, quote unquote, and they do it correctly. Like they listen to the consultant's like, go right, and they're like, okay, right, not a problem. Like they don't go, well, it'd be really good, like in a shootout, and instead of doing this thing where you like duck and move, can you just stand up and just blast away? Like, yeah, he could, and then he would be shot. Like a lot of times, like that's not a good idea. So with the hacking thing, I think.
And
it's
remember,
cool.
you have an unlimited amount of ammo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Never ever change out your magazine.
Actually,
No reason.
Heat is pretty good. I mean, I'm not like a major weapons guy or whatever, but I remember Heat being pretty accurate about like them having to switch out magazines and stuff like that.
No, it's really good.
Yeah.
So
So the IP address that they find,
Yeah.
it's a 192 address.
Yeah.
This is something that's usually behind like a router or something like that.
Yeah.
That you get from a private,
like a private network.
Yeah, private
kind of
network.
thing, yeah.
It's like, how do they get all the way back there? And they're like, oh yeah, this is the address. This is how we're going to track them.
But again, I think that Nomad wanted to be found on some level.
Yeah.
If you can do that at all, I think that's the kind of people Nomad was trying to get them to find. So
Gotcha.
so they continue on.
Well, hold on real quick.
Go ahead,
I just
my
want to say about the IP address thing here.
Yeah.
I was doing a little research on this. The IP that they show in the movie at the time, I don't know about now, but it linked to a real thing.
Oh,
Okay.
it was 192.236.19.01.
Oh, see, I've got 192.117.255.147.
What they say and what is written on the wall is different.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, they have two IPs. 192.256.1. 1.147.
This is an entertaining podcast.
1.1.7.
It's a podcast where we talk about numbers.
Yeah. Anyway,
Easy nerd, boys.
It wasn't just that. Well, there's a part of me where I'm like, I'm very impressed because I've watched that movie like 6 times.
Well,
never thought to write down the IP addresses.
It helps.
On the
It helps
screen.
when IMDb comes in
Ah,
and
okay.
I have images. And
Nice.
they just happen to have that IP address on there.
So what did you find out about the IP address you looked up?
so what it does is actually belongs, and this is just on IMDb trivia too. So
yeah.
it belonged to a company called Smile Internet Gold,
Okay.
which is an Israeli communication company.
Oh, interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if that was just a coincidence
Or was it purposeful?
was that purposeful
I
for
don't
any
know.
reason.
Huh.
But anyway,
Well, no, I was just gonna say. So they go ahead and track down Nomad to this house in the middle of the desert type of thing, and they get out and they investigate. It becomes the Blair Witch Project movie, and they're down in the. Well, it does.
Wait,
I
they-
know. Yeah.
that threw me off, to be honest.
Well, the whole thing was that I think what the director was trying to do was take you into the movie, into the fear type, not knowing of anxiousness of that one scene. Because this movie is actually like 4 movies put together.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
A lot of it seemed to me like a bunch of movies that were kind of stitched together.
Yeah.
That it didn't really flow for me.
See, I think it
that
flowed.
respect.
The Blair Witch Project part of the movie was the only part I don't think flowed well. Other than that, I think it was genius the way that it did.
And that just seemed like out of left field. Like
Yeah.
like the mood totally changes.
Yeah, the mood
that
See, I like
part.
that the mood changes. Though.
The mood changes, and I like that the mood changes.
Yeah.
But I can't get over the stupidity of of the characters in that particular scene. It's like, all right, I'm pulling up to this house that's obviously abandoned, boarded up,
Yeah.
Yeah, like
windows,
some
no
massive
electricity.
genius hacker is sitting here.
Exactly, and so I'm gonna sneak in. And they're walls with no drywall on them, and I mean, there's just the place is a wreck. It's
but the
obviously
basement.
abandoned.
Well,
and then
no.
we're gonna go to the basement,
Well, no.
Yeah.
and I even have a scene where I take my finger and I rub it across the dust, and I look at the dust. So obviously, no one's been there for a long
Well,
time,
hold
and these
on.
kids are supposed to be smart.
Hold on. So think about this from
MIT geniuses.
Computer smart does not necessarily mean
That's a good
Street
point.
smart.
Oh,
Street smart.
I know.
But I will also say this, though. I think what they were trying to go for was, okay, just go with me on this as a possibility. So they get to this house that looks dilapidated. If you're some master hacker, if you're the James Bond of hackers, well, then you'd probably want to hide out in some place that looks like it's abandoned.
Yeah.
But in the basement is where your lair turns into a pad, where it actually
Right.
turns into a building, etc. And when they find server wires, that becomes possible.
Well,
I think-
they found server racks.
Racks. I'm
Yeah,
sorry,
yeah.
server racks. That becomes possible. I think that's what the point of that building was.
I missed the server racks.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Well, that was
Yeah.
that was the you said the finger
Finger across
That
the
was a
dust.
server
that was
rack.
that was
Oh,
Oh,
I
I
had
thought
no
that was
idea.
like
well, and he
the
says
wall
It was
on the
conduit.
stairs.
Yeah,
and
so
it was
and
conduit and racks.
He actually says server racks.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe,
Oh,
maybe it was
I
a part of the
remember that.
whispering that I
You
missed.
couldn't hear the whispers.
I couldn't hear the
No,
whispers on,
yeah.
on my TV, apparently.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, so to me, it seems like what they went down there to find was kind of like a mom's basement type of situation.
I thought it
I'm
was-
with you on the dust, though. I mean, it was silly, but
Yeah, I thought it was kind of it was kind of an asshole move from Jonah to send Nick down first, even though
I thought that too.
He had crutches.
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
you go first. Why?
I was
So-
like, what an asshole.
Why are you sending this dude that could probably trip?
That is
why.
what-
Why go first?
That is one of the many things that you need a decoder ring to figure out in
Man.
this movie.
Well, no, hold on. So there's a part to that though that's important. Do you remember whenever Nick was coming out of the convenience store and he dropped his drinks?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so he drops his drinks coming out of the convenience store, and both Jonah and Haley jump out of the car and
Oh,
they
try
run
to
over to
help him.
Nick to try and help him. And Nick gets pissed.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be treated as somebody different just because he has this degenerative disease.
Right.
So I mean, there's a thing to it where if Jonah had been like, no, I'll go first, you stay here, Nick might have been like, F you. Like I'm in on this too. Like I'm still a person.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely some ableism that's happening there. That I think is important to understand about those.
You're right,
characters.
because I when I was watching that, I had that initial reaction that you did too, and it's like,
damn.
oh wait, though, but he doesn't want help from people, so
Yeah.
maybe this is a constant thing of
Yeah.
people trying to help him, and he's always, no, I don't need help.
So while they're in the basement, they hear Haley screaming,
Right.
and they haul ass out. Now, at this point, Jonah does go first because Nick is not moving as quickly.
Obviously.
So Jonah makes it upstairs, and Nick's right behind him. They run out. Haley's no longer in the car where she was waiting for them while they go into the house. And they're looking around the yard, and they can't find her. And here's where the movie takes a hard left.
Well, and
Right.
this is, this is where like the alien encounters type stories. Obviously, we know that they're in Nevada,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
And then when they see the car and Haley's gone, they see like the radio freaking
Yeah, the radio
out,
starts
lights
freaking
are
out.
blinking on
Yeah.
and off. It's like, okay, this is typically like an alien encounter type thing.
Yeah.
And then they then Haley's body just goes whoop.
Yeah, she gets sucked up off the
Straight
ground.
up.
So
yeah.
I laughed at that point.
I kind of did too.
I don't
Yeah.
know why it
Get
was
out of my head.
comedic.
It
to
was
me.
just it
Maybe
was,
it's just because it was so random.
it was so fast.
Yeah.
It's so fast. It like there's no lead up. Like if they had done a signs type thing where you see her standing there and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
she gets grabbed or she gets sucked up or something at that point. But it was just so quick. As soon as the flashlight hits her, she gets sucked up and you're like, oh, well, I didn't have any time to really feel anything about it. It was too quick.
Yeah.
You know
Maybe,
what I mean?
yeah,
I'm
you're
with
probably
you.
right.
They tracked her really well with that flashlight.
Yeah,
Sure
right.
did.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, there
there
she
she
goes.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean After Effects did?
Only for a
Yeah,
second. So the guys run around. Eventually, they black out. And when Nick wakes up, he's standing in front of, or he's sitting in front of Lawrence Fishburne, who is inside of like a hazmat / astronaut suit. Is the only way I
It
can
looks like an
describe it.
Apollo era suit,
Yeah, it does.
like a
But
moon
it's kind
suit.
of like a hazmat
Like a
type thing
60s.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the movie. Okay, so there's lots of parts of the '60s and '70s that are brought into the movie, and apparently Michael Eubank, not
director.
not Michael William
Yeah.
Eubank, the director, did that purposefully. He likes the idea of the whole what's the word, analog and digital like mashup type of stuff,
Yeah.
and he
Oh, okay.
thinks that the '70s stuff was like the '70s era for movie
a
making.
good era for that.
Yeah, there were some interesting things that you could do with that type of technology that you can't do, making it all digital and all nice.
Okay, yeah.
And he thinks that government installations, like the one that they're supposed to be in, that's how they all look. They all look like they're Apollo era type installations. So,
Well,
yeah, it's
I
interesting.
mean, you like Roswell or
Yeah.
Area 51 or something like that. They were
Yes.
built back in that time, like in the atomic age and everything. So they were thinking that, okay, government facility that's
Mm-hmm.
usually gone rogue or blacklist, site or something like that.
Yeah.
That, they wouldn't update anything.
Yep.
Everything would just be,
Yeah,
Just
stuck
what
in the
it is.
50s.
yeah, stuck in the 50s.
Yeah. And there's one important thing to note. So Nick is in a wheelchair now,
Yep.
and he is seat belted to the wheelchair. Like his legs and stuff are all seat belted to the
Right.
wheelchair. Like
Yeah.
there's no getting up for him.
Yeah.
And there's a part in the movie that's later on, Kyle, that you bring up, and I'm going to jump around here for a second. So right here is where Lawrence Fishburne talks about the pen,
Yes.
and he makes this interesting little side comment whenever his pen doesn't write. He's like, the ink's kind of messed up, and he's like, it's funny how necessary or how useful a simple tool like the pen can be. And he makes this little comment. Later on, he's carrying around the red briefcase, right?
Right.
And he's looking to kill humans,
Right.
human beings, etc. with the gun.
Right.
It's the same thing. He's looking at the gun the same way he looks at the pen,
As
a
just a
simple
tool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a simple tool. So, so I mean, there's little interesting bits though that happen. Him and Lawrence Fishburne are talking. Hey, you've been abducted by aliens, and they brought you back, and we don't know what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of bumping in. There's some talking through air vents that takes place.
Yeah.
Which- There's one interesting part with that though too. Whenever Lawrence Fishburne has Nick questioning reality as to whether or not he really is hearing his buddy Jonah through the air vent.
Yeah.
That was pretty wicked.
It makes the
Yeah.
audience like kind of question that as well.
Yeah, like is
Yeah.
this kid crazy? I mean, did he actually get abducted, or is he just in a hospital? Who the hell knows, right?
Mhm.
We see Haley; she's in a coma. We don't see Jonah again until later.
Yeah, like almost the end.
Yeah.
There was one part that we were still in the facility, the government facility type
the part
thing.
with the cow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't understand that at all.
I'm kind of curious.
That was Jonah.
Well, yeah.
I
thought- I thought
he,
that was clear, but I didn't quite understand what
Yeah.
happened.
Oh, okay.
Because later on, okay, so
What was the deal with the cow, though? What was the cow doing there?
okay, so cat out of the bag real fast. The kids have been tested upon, and Lawrence Fishburne's group are the aliens,
Right.
And they are, with the men in particular, they're cutting off body parts and putting on alien technology.
Right.
With the women in particular, they're doing brain.
Psychological stuff.
I don't think it's psychological so much. I think that it's a brain implant of some kind. It goes into their spinal cord. I know that.
Yeah, because
And
there's
then
that shot that we see of Haley's back,
and
and
she's
it's got
got
some kind of like matrix.
Yeah, right
plug in,
on her back.
XLR input or something.
Yeah, right on her spine. So XLR input. So
Can you hear me now? Test 1 2. Test.
So I have a theory as to which parts they're doing, and I'll go on that in a second. But
Okay.
but they for Jonah, they cut off his arms and they put robot arms on him, right? They're android whatever arms on him.
Yeah.
Well, the lights go dark. I'm assuming he was meant to hit the cow and kill the cow.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Instead, he gets pissed and throws a chair at the window.
Okay.
And then breaks out of that room that they had put him in. And I
Gotcha,
know
yeah,
that
yeah.
it's him because later on, whenever Nick's going down the hallway, there's big
that's
drag
right.
marks down the hall where where Jonah was running down the hall, and he's so powerful now that as he
Yeah.
runs down the hall, he's scraping chunks of the cement off
Wow,
the
see,
wall.
I
as
didn't
he
even make
runs.
that connection.
I didn't make
it
that
either.
connection
Yeah.
either. I've only watched it once, and that's what I like to do. Is I just like to watch it once, and then once we talk about it, it's just like,
Well,
that
I
totally
like-
makes sense.
I like watching it twice. Well, watching them twice, but I still didn't get it even the second time. I assumed that it was since they are obviously aliens
Yeah.
abducting. Their term aliens,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That it was just another being from a different
No,
planet.
it was
that they
Jonah.
were-
It
I
was Jonah
definitely-
getting out.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
I definitely fell into the trap of they are actually still on Earth.
Yes.
Yes, I did too.
I mean, even after he broke through the glass at the
yeah.
end, I was thinking, okay, he's running so fast that this is just an illustration of him like breaking the sound barrier.
So
or something.
remind
Like
me.
an abstract idea.
Well, remind me to come back to that.
Yeah.
Because that's important. There's a couple of fan theories and a part that
Oh, cool.
I have not seen from a fan theory that I think
Okay.
is what's actually happening there.
Gotcha.
Okay, so remind me to come back to that.
Okay.
Talking about the cutting off the body parts piece, though.
Yeah.
So I think the reason why they're chopping off body parts and they're replacing them, and it goes into the bigger investigation that's taking place. So Lawrence Fishburne the whole time, okay? And by the way, spoiler alert, Lawrence Fishburne is Damon, which spelled backwards is Nomad.
Right.
Hey, surprise.
Nobody, but be honest, did you recognize
no.
that until
Nope.
Nick did at
Absolutely
the end?
not.
Nope.
No, most people don't.
Yeah. When he was
Including me.
screaming at him, no man, oh my God.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I would freak out too.
So would I. So from the beginning, though, the very first text that we see from Nomad is, "Are you agitated?" Right?
Right.
Right.
It's the very first text we see from Nomad. Nomad and that group of aliens are extremely interested in human emotion. They
Yeah.
don't have emotions.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
They don't have
'cause,
emotions.
Yeah, Lawrence, he never blinks an eye kind
No.
of thing.
No, it's they don't have it. He
Well,
just isn't. He's
some
unable.
of the people that were working in that facility,
Yeah.
of the other intelligent community or whatever, they were kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
Some of them were freaked out of the humans.
Well, freaked out or
Mainly
just
probably because they're like, well, shit, we just added superhuman abilities to these things, so yeah, we can kind of be a little afraid of them.
Well,
So-
like those two guys that accidentally knocked Nick off of the table,
yeah.
they
They
bailed out of that room like
Yeah.
they were scared.
Yes, but would you say that that's fear, or would you say that that's self-preservation?
The way they look scared.
They look
They look
scared,
scared,
yeah.
but I'm wondering. When I look at the whole movie, I don't think that it was fear. I don't think it was real fear. I think that it was self-preservation. And the reason why I say that is, again, the whole time Nomad is interested in human will and human emotions. Those are the two things he's the most interested in. He
Yeah.
even says that what's made you different or something like that is your will to survive and your will to etc. He's interested in melding, I should say, humanity and the human body, the human will in particular, with alien technology. If you can put those two things together, what's possible? The whole technology that they put on them, right? When does Jonah become the strongest?
at the very, very end.
What is he doing?
Well, he's saving his friends.
Yeah, that's true. What else does he? How does he feel? He's just been shot
He's
3
agitated.
times. Super pissed.
Yeah.
He's pissed off, right? And he's like slamming the ground, going Hulk style on the ground, shooting dirt up 50 feet in the air and breaking up cement and causing earthquakes.
Well, I
right?
noticed,
People are
like,
going everywhere.
Their devices, either the fists or the
They
legs,
light up.
They start glowing and heating up.
Yeah, it's all driven by
it's-
human emotion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so because humans have emotion and have a human will, we can power
That's
that
the-
technology differently than what they can because they don't have it.
Interesting.
Or if they do have it, it's in small amounts.
So they were probably trying to test to see, like, okay, we got this technology, but the only way we can do it or power it up.
Yeah.
So let's make ships that run off of human emotion.
I mean, possibly.
Could be.
right?
Or
I don't know.
weapons that
Yeah.
run off of human emotion or something like that.
Well, there's a lot of all the people that live above the facility that live on the surface, quote unquote.
Right.
All of them are past what's the word?
Test subjects.
Test
Thieves,
subjects.
yeah.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah,
They were
yeah.
all past test subjects, and they're
Gotcha.
all screw ups.
Right.
And if you look, like most of them look like
They're all freaking crazy.
yeah, they're all crazy, and most of them look like they've been like their emotions have been effed with.
Right.
Like the one
Like
guy.
mental breakdown.
Yeah, the one guy is like a child. He's like, my brother lives over in that room. This guy's like 45 years old,
Oh, the
50
truck
years
driver?
old. The truck driver.
Yeah.
He's like, my brother lives over there, and my mom lives back here, and she sleeps in this room. And it's like he's a child.
Yeah.
The old woman, she can't stop laughing for
Right.
some reason. Like she's
That
just
old lady, I'm not gonna lie, freaked me out.
Yeah.
Maribel is her name. 'Cause
Maribel,
I had to
yes,
write it
she's
down
nuts.
because it was like I was like, WTF, mate? What in the world is this lady doing?
She's
We're gonna
nuts.
go on a picnic.
No,
We're
she
gonna go on
was-
a picnic.
she was
picnic.
the-
Oh Lord.
She was the mother in
Boy.
Detroit Rock City.
yes,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
in that movie, you know, she's just, I think she just plays the same character no matter what movie she's in.
Well, she was also the landlord in Kingpin, the one that Woody Harrelson has to sleep with.
Oh,
to,
yeah.
to get free rent.
Ugh.
It's so awful.
That
Such
does
an
sound
awful
pretty bad.
scene. Yeah, it's awful. But no, I mean, she's been messed with, and I think she was the pre-subject, the pre-test subject to what Haley has done. So Haley
Okay.
seems very mellow and very like okay and normal,
Sure.
and actually almost is lacking emotion now, where she had emotion prior to the surgery. Now she doesn't have as much emotion. I think that Maribel was the one that they were testing on first, and they screwed up. They effed her up, and they're like, okay, well, you can just live up there. It's okay. We'll we've got things you can eat. You'll
can't
be
go
fine.
anywhere.
You can't go anywhere, but you'll be fine. So yeah, all these people up there they're just pre-test subjects. It's
Wow. Yeah.
yeah, it's a pretty crazy movie actually.
Never thought about that.
And
Pre-test subject thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the scene where what was that lady's name? I know
Maribel?
Maribel Lynn Shay.
Mm-hmm.
They were face to face in this truck. It's a padded room, and they got this big plexiglass in between them. He's still in his spacesuit, obviously, which I think
We're
is
talking
kind
about
of weird.
Damon, right? Lawrence
Damon, yeah,
Fishburne.
yeah.
Lawrence
Lawrence
Fishburne.
And he had the red case, and he's opened it up. He was happy to kill her.
Was he happy, or did his face look pleasant?
Pleasant, happy. They kind of look the same.
They kind of look the same, but
Just to
they
me,
aren't. I don't think that they have emotion. I think that this guy, I think he looks pleasant because he's trying to mimic his face.
He's trying to mimic emotion.
Yeah, his face skin, because I mean, there's no real face underneath that, right? Like,
Right.
if
It's just
there is
machine.
anything, it's just metal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think his face is trying to mimic emotion, but I don't think that he actually has any. I think he's taking her out the same way he takes out the truck driver, which is
Yeah.
a process. It's not a point of passion by any means. It's literally, don't worry about it. I think he calls him James, the guy with the shotgun, the guy who thinks
Yeah.
he's a kid, the
I think
trucker.
so, yeah.
He says, "Don't worry, James," and then just shoots him, just almost without any warning, like
Right.
just bang, and it's done.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, well, efficient, like just straight to the point.
Oh, yeah.
I
For sure.
don't think that there's any feelings attached to it.
See, I thought it was. I thought he did that. I thought it was supposed to be like empathetic, like
maybe
they're too far gone. Let's just
I don't know.
in their
Let's just end
suffering. Yeah,
Yeah,
that
maybe,
kind of thing.
Maybe. I mean, or the other possibility is that Haley, Jonah, and Nick, their tests actually took. They didn't get screwed up.
Right.
They are functional. They are able to power up the machines with their emotions.
Yeah, they were the
everything seems to be
successful
working.
ones. Yeah.
So why do we still need the old test subjects if everything's successful with these
True.
people?
Yeah.
So as these people are getting, as these three are now working, okay, well the old ones we can trash.
Because we never saw any physical
Nope.
changes in their bodies
No,
at all.
it
They were
seems to
fully
all be-
clothed and
It
like
seems to
covering
all
everything.
be mind, especially.
Yeah.
It seems mostly to be the mind, but again,
So
I think
the
James
kid
had
with the
something there.
shotgun could have been one with legs
True.
or something like
Yeah,
that.
'cause you
And
just had
then
jeans
obviously
on,
the
yeah.
female had the one with the spinal cord attachment or something.
Yeah.
So yeah,
It's possible.
Kind of interesting. But the ending though, when he's like running super fast through everything and breaking through, I thought at the time it was the sound barrier.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
It was just
I-
it was
I-
just like an artistic illustration
A visual
of the sound
way
barrier.
to depict the sound
Yeah.
barrier.
It's like he's
breaking. Yeah.
breaking through something.
Well, he
you
did
know?
break the sound barrier. He did break it, and then
Right.
he breaks the glass.
Yeah,
Afterwards.
which yeah.
So I mean,
I just thought it was the same event.
Yeah,
Oh, I hear you. So
kind of cut.
talking about that portion in particular. So earlier in that scene, or earlier on, whenever they're still at the, I guess I'm gonna call it a cafeteria or something. I don't know. They were in like a kitchen. Jonah comes up with this thing, of I have a tattoo too, and if you add, I think what are the numbers? It's like 2, 3.
I forget, but it adds up to 51.
It was 2, 3, 5, 41.
2, 3, 5, 41. Thank you. So he's like, if you add this up, we all have the same number. It's not an identification number. It's for us. It's an identification number for where we are.
Yeah.
And he's like, it's Area 51, man. It's Area 51. So there's some fan
Dun,
theories.
dun.
Yeah. There's some fan theories. There's 3 in particular that I read. One of them is that Nick and Haley and Jonah were in a car accident, and
Okay.
they're all 3 in a coma. And what you're seeing is them in a coma. Okay.
All right.
Second one.
That's easy to pull off.
All right.
Sure. Second one. It's not supported by any means. If it
Right.
was that, at the end they would wake up and
Sure.
we'd be like, oh, they were in a coma.
Yeah, and they didn't have like any kind of weird happenstance on the highway or
No.
anything. Yeah.
Right.
Second one is this is all in Nick's mind, and he died when he went into that house. Him and Jonah actually died, and this is like their death throes is what we're watching. Again,
I don't buy that.
not supported,
Yeah.
but there it is. The third one is that the spaceship and all that you're seeing, they've been testing on us for a really long time, and what we consider to be Area 51 is actually when we get abducted and sent to this spaceship. Right?
Okay.
So Area 51 is not an area in
Yes,
Nevada?
that's what
It's-
they're assuming. That's what the fan theory is, that they're not. It's not a location
Physical place
somewhere in
on
the
Earth.
desert. Yeah, it's actually we found out through somebody, I guess, I don't know, that we found out that there's a spaceship with 2, 3, 5, 14, 51, whatever.
2, 3, 5, 41.
Thank you. On a spaceship, so we've been calling it Area 51. Whatever. I have a fourth theory myself,
Okay, let's hear it.
and it's based on the spaceship at the end.
Okay.
So at the end, Nick runs through the wall, and it's a wall of glass, and it's actually a projector screen.
Right.
And on the other side, there's projectors that have been projecting cars driving by on a highway that's on the outskirts of this desert that they've been doing all of this.
Yeah,
the
all an illusion.
All the action through the whole movie is happening in this thing, right?
Yeah.
Well, after you see Damon take off his helmet and you look back out of Nick's eyes and you see the stars, they do an extreme wide shot of
Yeah.
the spaceship, and the spaceship is just sort of floating. And it's such a weird angle and shot that they do. That can you guys tell what it's floating around?
Well, it's
You have a
I
picture.
have a
got
picture?
a picture of it. Yeah, and it looks like an upside down city.
Yes.
It looks like the camera is upside down and the ship itself is like coming down, or it might be coming up. Who knows?
So here's what's important about this picture.
Okay.
So first off, the bottom of the ship that they're on
Yeah.
looks the same way as what you see there. You see all those things jutting out from the bottom of the big, what you're calling city would be like skyscrapers.
So you think those are ships?
Well, so here's the thing. Look at the top. Look right above that city.
Yeah, it's all.
Well, hold on. Show the picture back
Oh,
real fast.
Okay.
Okay. What is it doing right now, Justin? What's that ship? The ship is the dot in the middle. That's not connected to everything. It looks like it's coming up. Looks like a finger.
Looks like it's docking.
It looks
I
like it's
don't know.
docking.
It
yeah.
looks like it's doing what?
docking.
Docking.
Yeah.
Yeah. What if Area 51 is just like the rest of the planet? It's actually all one big spaceship, and the Area 51 is redocking to collect more people. Whenever they drove on to that piece of property in the very first 15 minutes to go find Nomad, what if that was actually already on Area 51?
Okay, hold on. So
Okay.
you're blowing my mind here. So you're saying
Yeah.
that the physical place on Earth,
Yes.
that's Area 51,
Yep.
all the kids drive onto it,
Yes.
and then it takes off from Earth.
Actually drops down from Earth.
Because
Well,
the
okay.
Earth is flat.
Yeah. Well, at least in this video, yeah, or in that picture.
So then it docks onto the alien spaceship.
Doesn't dock. The alien spaceship is Area 51.
Yeah, it just
So
fills
imagine,
the hole.
Yeah, imagine a big, I don't know, platter.
Yeah.
And then poke a hole with your finger right into the platter. That little disc that you just poked out is Area 51. It can undock and float in space for whatever reason, and then redock back with Earth.
Okay,
Quote
I
unquote
gotcha.
Earth. But Earth is actually just like a big test facility for whatever these aliens are.
Right,
The other
I
thing
gotcha.
with this picture that it looks like it has like solar flares.
Exactly. It's really super close to the sun. It's like
Yeah.
it's getting heat from the sun.
Right.
I think that it's supposed to be Earth. That's my thought.
That's what I thought.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, look at it though. I mean, look
Yeah.
at that picture again and tell me I'm crazy.
Mean, if the Earth didn't have oceans and crust and all that kind of stuff, I mean, that's like
Well,
below everything.
Well, no, it has all. Oh, yeah. Like okay.
It would just be below all this stuff.
But yeah, I think I see what Eddie's saying. Is like, yeah, okay, there's Area 51 and it can dock. Area 50 is right next to Area 51 and it can pull off and dock too.
Right.
Yeah.
Type thing, right? So yeah, I think I see. So
here's
the
the-
entire Earth is these conglomerate of
And here's the ship. It's got that
spaceships.
dome-looking thing.
Yeah,
which
which-
makes sense just because it's a dome and it's all projection and stuff like that. So it creates inside. It creates
Yeah.
an Earth-like environment.
Well, if you think again about the way that because when they're on that spaceship, when they're actually driving around the desert and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, I mean, it looks just
looks
like
real.
Earth. I mean,
Yeah.
what's the difference? So if you didn't know that, like I don't know, going across the Smoky, like going across the Rocky Mountains, right? Like you see the Rocky Mountains. Have you ever climbed them?
No.
I've never been on them. I've never been
maybe I
through
have.
them. So what if they're actually a projection,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And as you get closer to them, you're inside of this vein, and then once you cross over, like I think that was the thought. I don't have any. I'm going back to kind of being like you, Justin. I don't have any proof for it other than what they show in that movie, and I
Well,
try
and
and
since-
operate within the science of the movie.
Yeah, and since these beings are super intelligent, they
Yes.
can basically program anything to make it look real. They can
Yes.
program trucks, they can print everything to make everything look like an Earth thing.
Yeah.
Or just all of humankind is just a test subject lab.
we are rats in an experiment.
Well, and remember,
Right. It's just the whole Earth.
well, and remember that while we all may be an experiment, quote unquote, it appears that what Damon and the rest of the crew there are looking for is a specific combination.
Yeah.
So if, for instance, let's say 10,000 years ago, just for shits and giggles, 10,000 years ago, there was a person that Damon was like, you know what, this could work. And they tested him and it didn't work, right? They were like,
Right.
nope, he went crazy. We added the science. It didn't happen, right? Well, they got to wait. They got to wait and find somebody else. Then they got to wait and find somebody else. They've been trying people and it's not working,
Yeah.
right? Then they come across these three kids who are from MIT who have technological backgrounds but are also, rooted in logic, but kind of emotion too, like just enough emotion to power up these things, but not so much that it overpowers them.
Yeah, well, I
Right.
mean, they definitely goad them into.
Yeah, they
trying
push
to
them.
Push them to find them.
Yeah.
To go there.
Yeah. So I mean, go ahead,
When
sorry.
does the anal probe start?
I think it already went by. You missed it. It was in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's where they were blacked out and
No matter how you felt about the movie, by the way, the technology looked pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah,
Like
the-
I
the
almost want to chop a leg
technology-
off just to get one leg. I mean,
Yeah.
just a leg,
Yeah, the effects and the effects were awesome.
Yeah.
The
They surprised me.
the filmmaking was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
I can't complain about that at all.
I could see this director moving on to doing other projects, like
Well, it's
other
been
bigger
s-
projects and stuff.
It's been
Yes.
6 years. He hasn't moved on much.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, I mean, he's done some other stuff, but it hasn't been great. I don't know. To me, this is,
William Eubank.
this is a good one. And this movie isn't a 10 for me, just to clarify. It's not a 10.
Yeah.
It's not even a 9 because there are holes, but the science for it holds up fairly well. You know what I mean? Like, and I like that as a mystery, it left me still questioning things afterwards. Like, I don't like whenever you get to the end of a movie and you know every single inch of every single thing.
Yeah, I mean, it
But at
did
the
have
same
a
time-
nice. They hid that ending very, very well,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and I think it's mainly the fact that every single time that you see Lawrence Fishburne's character, he's always in a suit.
Yeah.
So you just think that okay, they're in these suits to protect themselves from unknown substances of
Yeah.
like radiation or alien technology or something like that.
When did you start questioning that part?
Honestly, I was surprised at the very, very end, like when he took
Okay.
off the helmet. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
These
coming.
guys
No.
were aliens the whole time.
Same thing.
Yeah.
I started questioning it whenever they came on the surface. When they came on the surface and they were looking around, they went to James's house, they went to see the old woman, etc., and they never got out of their suits. I was like, huh. But what threw me was the toll booth. The toll booth has guys in like they got them in hazmat suits,
They're like
but
paper bags or something.
Exactly, it's a different type of hazmat
Taped
suit,
up, yeah.
and I'm like, huh. But see, I have a theory about those guys too. I think those guys are actually human. I don't think those guys were aliens.
Oh, and they just kind of mind meld them or mind not
No.
mind meld.
Are they
That's
alien
Star Trek.
sympathizers?
Exactly. I think. Remember, go back to my theory that that Area 51 is able to dock and undock from Earth,
Okay.
quote unquote. I think those guys are in on it and know because they work for the government probably, and they're like the guards at Area 51.
Or they just let the aliens come and abduct people at will?
I mean,
It's
who's
a peace
to say
treaty.
who's to say that doesn't happen now? What if the option
You're
was,
true.
we're going to take 5 people a year, or we annihilate the entire
Right.
planet.
Yeah, it's a peace
5
agreement.
people a year, it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
So
feel
this
good to
You're
talk to you.
bluffing.
you don't have a
What was
weapon.
Mars attacks. He's like, and just destroys the whole Earth.
We come in peace.
Bang. No, this director William Eubank, he also directed Underwater with what's her name, Kristen Stewart. It looked like a terrible movie.
Well,
I
it's
don't think
Kristen
I've
Stewart.
heard of that.
Kristen Stewart.
No, it is Kristen Stewart. That's why it's not a great movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's probably what turned me off.
Hold on.
And it's got T.J. Miller. I don't know what kind of character. It's probably the same as any other character
What
he's
year?
played. 2020.
Oh, this year.
It came out this year, January 10th. Is when it came out.
it was right before COVID.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
also after Christmas, which means it's probably not a great movie.
Right. It didn't make the cut of Christmas releases.
We could do it in December. Maybe not.
Let's
Yeah.
push it back to summer. Oh, wait, COVID.
Oh.
So, I mean, I don't know. I think, again, there's a lot of really interesting pieces in it. John, what did you think, though?
The more I talked about it, I'll tell you, I came into this review hating life because I had to watch this movie.
Fair enough.
But through talking it out and getting to understand it more, I'm starting to. It's not growing on me. Like I will probably never watch this film again.
Okay.
But definitely not 6 times. But I do. I do. I do
Definitely
have
not Stand By Me numbers.
Yeah, definitely not Stand By Me numbers. I do. I have a new respect for it after ever talking it through, though I do still have some issues with it.
Well, before you say that, let me address the 6 times thing. Part of the reason why I watched it more than, I mean, I don't know exactly the number, but I know it's more than 3 times, 4 times. I've had to have watched this movie at least 6 or 7 times. Like I've seen it a bunch because of the questions you guys have. The first time I watched it, I had the same questions. I was like, wait, no, let me go back. So the whole damn time he was in it, he never took that off. Wait a minute. And then I watched it the second time and I was like, oh shit, he never takes it off. Okay. And then, okay, that makes sense. So wait, are
everything
everyone,
with like tools, like the analogies
all
that
that
they were
stuff
making.
to get there. Yeah. And then the same thing, like I started to go into the,
You didn't start drawing these conclusions until after the third, fourth, fifth
third time is really the unlocking moment because that's whenever I started thinking about the people who were in suits versus the one who weren't. And that's what I'm saying. The guys at the toll booth, the fact that they're not in the same suits, I'm like, oh, those have got to be humans. Like those have got to be like sympathizer, alien sympathizer type, people for this. And they're handling rifles. They're not, nobody else in the movie except for Damon, who carries the handgun inside of a red suitcase, handles rifles. Nobody. So I'm like, yep, got to be human
So why do you think he had the pistol in the suitcase?
because it's a tool.
Yeah.
What do you carry a tool in? A toolbox.
With a knife, why not a
toolbox?
a literal toolbox?
Well, because it's not a tool. It's not a literal tool.
It
no, I
wouldn't
mean, I'm being
look
sincere.
as
Like,
cool.
Yeah, but
having a 45 in a metal tin can, or
and
something.
that goes back to the '70s aspect of it. Like, there's that movie, The Box. Have you ever seen The Box?
I don't
If you get a
think so.
chance, that's a really great movie. That one is going to go on my list now
Well,
since
you
you guys
can
haven't
pick
seen
it
it.
next time.
I know. So the movie The Box, though, is based in semi-modern times, but it's based in the 70s, and you have a lot of the same type of stuff. You have people doing really odd things that I guess we kind of associate with 70s style movies.
Okay.
So, John, I apologize. Let's
No,
go.
that's okay. No, my one of my main issues it's right at the beginning of the film.
Okay.
Is the continuity error with
The shorts.
the shirt.
The shirt.
Nick's shirt at the beginning has the coffee stain on it.
Yeah.
From when he fell later on in the movie, from when he fell and spilled and landed in the puddle of coffee.
Oh, okay.
The problem is it's obviously not the same convenience store that he's in. The convenience store he was in had double doors. The convenience store that he's in the beginning of the film has a single door.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the crane game next to the door. So there's a major continuity issue.
Well, there's a continuity
there
issue clothing wise. Haley is wearing one outfit. It's the same day. She's wearing one outfit, and then like 20 seconds later, she's in a completely different outfit. So the continuity thing with that, I'll give you that. That's just an error. I'm with you.
And to me, it's a huge error.
I honestly did not catch it just because I wasn't really looking and detailing. I wasn't looking for continuity.
I wasn't either. But what caught my attention was that he had the coffee stain.
Yeah.
I'm like, what's on his shirt? And then the next scene, he had on the same shirt, and he doesn't have a coffee stain.
Yeah. It's not picture perfect issue though. Did you guys ever see Picture Perfect with Jennifer Aniston?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. There were so many issues with this movie that they actually had to completely re-edit it before they let it go to DVD. There's a scene though that's still in the DVD copy. That where the guy has his arm in a cast. He sits down to dinner and the cast disappears.
Yeah. Oh.
He eats the entire dinner, and as he stands up to leave, the cast reappears on his arm. Like it's that level of continuity issue.
Wow.
There's also a scene where in the theater, anyway, had you watched in the theater, where you could see the boom mic, where the sound guy almost hits Jennifer Aniston in the head with the boom mic like 3 times.
Oh my God.
So what you're saying is
in the scene.
This movie is picture perfect.
It was so awful.
Waka waka.
Yeah. So what's the
Waka
second
waka.
one? What's the second issue you had?
My second issue is the love story between Nick and Haley is just poorly done.
Yeah, I didn't get into that at all. I didn't. Yeah.
And I really don't care. I really don't care about our 3 main characters.
Okay.
I don't care about them enough to go, okay, where are they going from here? I just kind of like the whole time I'm searching for a reason to like them, and I'm not seeing it.
It might have just been the cast that they picked for these characters, because Olivia Cooke is not necessarily. She's almost like I would say a prettier Kristen Stewart. She kind of plays the okay, well, whatever type character. She doesn't really put forth a lot of emotion.
Yeah.
Which might be, she might be typecasted. Who knows?
I agree with you on that. I'm going to say this though too, John. I think part of it with the emotion thing in particular, and I'm stretching when I say this. Okay, it's very possible I'm wrong. Let's just admit this.
Okay, you're wrong.
I think there's a possibility that was done purposefully, right? Because if you think about like, okay, are they maybe trying to put us in the same mindset almost as the aliens, like being a little bit more devoid of emotion, looking at this. If we're a little more devoid of the emotion, whenever Nick goes crazy or Jonah goes crazy, it's more dramatic.
Well, and see, to me, it's like, okay, I would want that to be more defined. I would want that. And honestly, the movie's what, an hour and
30 minutes.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
They could have used another 15 or 20 minutes for character development.
I don't disagree.
And I mean, I wouldn't have mind seeing the some scenes at MIT where the hack happened and they were kicked out of MIT, because honestly I didn't get the whole they were kicked out of MIT. I thought they were just on vacation.
Oh, they said that in like
I didn't
first 3 minutes or so of the movie.
They probably whispered it.
But you keep going back to this whispering.
I do. I couldn't hear the whisper, so I could see those. I could see them using another 15 to 20 minutes to build those characters and be happy. Like, okay, these two are in love, and oh yes, she's so sorry that he has this condition now, but she's always going to be there for him, and da 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 da. And then as they get closer to Area 51 or closer to this cabin, their relationship starts to break down.
Yeah. Okay. I see what you're saying, Justin.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to agree with John. I wasn't totally sold on the characters, especially the relationship of Haley and Nick. And you're saying that after Haley's had wakes up on the operating table, that she's like almost devoid of emotion. In the back of my mind, I was going, she didn't have any emotion in the beginning of the film.
Yeah, exactly.
See,
I never got that.
I think you guys are possibly minimizing her feelings in the first 15 minutes. The problem was the first 15 minutes was so short.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right?
I agree.
You really only see them in 4 scenes in the
Right.
first 15 minutes.
And it's either driving,
Yeah.
sleeping in a hotel room,
Yep.
getting coffee.
Yep.
Hacking in a bathtub.
Yeah, hacking.
Well,
in a
that was still in the
bathtub. Yeah,
hotel
that was
room.
Oh,
Or
But-
sitting on the edge of the canyon.
Right.
And him and her having that heart to heart
Right.
where he breaks up with her.
Right.
Right.
And she takes off his necklace and then just sort of flippantly throws it off the side of the canyon.
Yeah, but then she gave it back to him.
Yeah, because she didn't actually throw it away.
Yeah.
She made him think that she threw it
'cause
away.
I guess when she did, attempt to throw it away or something like that, or show that she was throwing it away, he was trying to look for it.
Yes. He
Like,
looks
and-
over he thought she threw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real dick move because she's saying you're being a dick, so I'm going to be one back.
Right.
That's what I'm saying when I say you're kind of minimizing her emotions a little bit. I don't disagree. She doesn't have a lot. I'm with you on that, and it's short.
Yeah, she has emotion. It's mad and upset.
Well, she also has happy.
When was she happy?
When was she happy?
Whenever they were talking in the convenience store for about 2 seconds, she smiled a little bit. That was there's parts that they're just condensed.
I must have glossed over that.
I think you guys glossed over quite a bit of the first 15 minutes.
Well, that goes to show you they needed.
I'm agreeing.
They needed
No,
the
no.
15 to 20 minutes. No, I'm
Yeah.
not saying you don't.
Okay.
I'm just
Jonah
saying
was annoying.
He
Jonah was a
annoying.
little
But
bitch.
Jonah was the third wheel.
I know.
He
How much
was.
more annoying can you be than the third wheel?
I know. I identify with
Don't
Jonah.
talk about Justin like that.
I didn't say that. He said I identify with him. I said that
He
he's-
would have never said it if you didn't bring it up.
Oh my
Jerk.
lord! But no, I mean Cook's character Haley. I think she had a decent amount of emotion, but I do think they could have developed all 3 of them more. The thing is, I don't think they wanted to, because it would have given away more. If we knew about those characters, if we knew how they would act in certain situations, if we knew there's no way Nick's crazy,
Yeah.
then a lot of those other mysteries in the film would be gone.
But see, I would think he would be going crazy. I wouldn't. You can develop a character without making them not necessarily one dimensional, but you can develop a character without putting them in a box.
I'm not disagreeing. I don't disagree with that. Yeah,
But she almost has like a more heart-to-heart moment with Jonah when Nick is getting coffee.
Yes,
Because Jonah puts
Yeah.
his foot on the door or whatever, and then she starts playing, like physically, like playing with him.
well, there's a weird brother-sister thing between them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
Like
It
I
was just
almost
kinda
first
odd.
time I watched the movie, I almost thought those 2 were going to hook up on this little trip.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh
See-
no, don't do that. Like,
Okay, well then,
I was like, guy's already lost his legs, the degenerative disease. Now you're going to break it. You're going to like bang his friend on this trip. Like Jesus, slow down.
yeah. Well, I mean, again, we've only watched it once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, did you get that idea that them 2 were
I saw
kind of having
little-
a thing?
Yeah, I saw a little bit.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just seem to have more of a connection than Nick and Haley to me.
Well, I think and I think that's part and parcel of why he broke up with her. The whole time he's thinking about breaking up with her.
Well, the way I thought he broke up with her because, she's moving out of state
Maybe.
to go to college.
Yeah. Right.
But I thought that he was also blaming her, not for his leg problem, but not wanting to be with someone who is handicapped.
No, she does not care if
Right.
he's handicapped.
Yeah, we know that.
he was
But
using that as an excuse. I thought.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Well, no, I don't.
to break up.
I don't think he's using that as an excuse. I do think that he says it's so that he even said I'm taking him for his word. He thinks that if he stays with her, he's going to be holding her back.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's why the doctors have told him he doesn't have long to live. That's going to get worse and worse until he's in a wheelchair and then just fade away.
Right.
So he's looking at it as I'm saving her feelings by breaking up with her.
Did I miss a scene somewhere where the
You
doctor
must not have
said
watched
This
that
that?
very close.
was this was right after he dropped the coffee and he went back in to go get more, and he was filling up the coffee, and she comes in and starts talking to him, and he says, "Yeah, you're only breaking up with me because
Yeah, because
whatever.
you don't have very long or something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
I'm
whole
telling
thing.
you, I'm telling you, either it's my ears, and I'm not that old. Either it's my ears or the sound mix was awful in this film.
You guys had a very strange version of it, I think, because I mean I have not had any hearing issues with it.
Well, did you have any other problems that you're?
It's not necessarily a problem, but can Eddie?
Yeah.
Can you explain to me the scene?
Mr. Eubank?
Apparently, yeah. Well, I directed it.
Yeah. Can you explain to me the scene where Nick is talking to Jonah through the air vent,
Yes.
and he gives him the grid of the keypad on the door. And
Why not just
how
give him the
they-
numbers?
I don't understand what the
Why give him
grid
the
was
placement?
versus. I mean, you're the college guy. What did that mean?
It was just a code.
I just don't understand how did he come up with the code to get out of the door?
It was a code. He told him something about left, right, or something.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to give you a 3-digit phone code.
Yeah, so
Meaning
Yeah,
789.
it's an old school hacker
456.
thing, from what I understand. Back
Phone
whenever
freaking.
they used what's it called, payphones, they would actually hook up to payphones and do the same thing, or be able to do hacking and stuff through payphones.
Yeah, it's called phone freaking.
Phone freaking. Thank you. I apologize. You said it twice. I should have listened.
Maybe you have the same
But how
movie
did
version as
I
John.
can't hear. Do you not have emotion? I can't hear it, Justin.
he's laughing? Oh wait, no, is that just him imitating laughter?
Yeah.
This is the aliens. They want us to think that. But no, in all honesty, like, yeah, it's them, like, I guess, sort of working in that they're hackers, that they do all these different codes, that they can know all these different types of codes.
I guess I just don't understand how they arrived at the number. Then
It was very quick.
I mean, I know he crushed up the Pop-Tart to blow dust on it and
To
see.
see
It was
what
like,
the four
okay,
numbers
I
were,
can
yeah.
understand that, but I mean, how did they arrive at that conclusion?
But like, describing the numbers, obviously these guys know a number pad.
Yeah.
It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then he describes it as top right, lower left, middle, center,
Yeah, I don't-
far left,
I don't
or
understand
right
why.
bottom.
I think
it's like,
that-
it's a 9.
No, I know. I think that was partly because he was. I don't remember if he told Damon that he was talking to Jonah before or after that scene. And I
After.
apologize.
It was after.
It was after.
It was after.
Oh no! It
was
was
before.
it was before because he
Yeah.
escapes.
So I
he
think-
tries to escape at that point.
So I think the reason that he did that was to throw them off from knowing what they were doing.
So I thought that too.
Yeah.
But it's not difficult to just look at the keypad and say, oh, okay, top left,
Yeah.
middle, center.
I hear you.
well, if,
That-
any,
it just didn't make
if any
sense.
of our listeners know, please send us an email.
No, I'm with you, but again, I mean, and you're saying he came to it quickly. That was partly the filmmakers' issue, I think, because you were saying like they could have used a couple extra minutes.
Yeah.
Well, he had enough time to completely cover the pallet underneath his bed in writing.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
true.
And we
missed
never
all that,
saw
yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
so it was going
It was just
on
the-
for hours.
It's just the
That's
magic
true.
of editing.
It was it
Or
looked,
days.
it looked very quick. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It looked
Time,
very
yeah.
quick, but it was longer than that because
Yeah.
he covered. I mean, he went full, just full nutso
Yeah.
on the bed.
Yeah, it went full Rain
Taking
Man
notes.
on the keypad.
Yeah, taking notes.
So we want to rate it?
Yeah.
Well, I do want to say one more thing.
Oh,
that
you got
I
something
that
you
I
like?
like about the
Okay.
film.
Oh,
I
okay.
said some things I like.
No, hey, listen. I think this conversation has been very productive.
I think it has to.
Actually, it's kind of changed my view a little bit.
It's
of
definitely changed my view. I'll tell you.
Nice.
I do like that it's not the classic dumb yokel gets abducted. I like how they went after the smart people
Yeah.
instead of the chick with curlers in her hair,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
I like
Kinda
that.
like a freight train.
I like that. I like that even the people that you see that are supposed to be the dumb yokels aren't that way.
Right.
Like James is probably the closest, and even then,
They were made that way.
The guy's messed up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that this is. It's not a science fiction. It's not a War of the Worlds. It's not. What's that other movie that was?
Where the aliens are trying to
Alien
abduct
movie.
you and kill you.
Yeah. There was another, The Darkest Hour. There was not the one with Winston Churchill. This was
Right.
this was the one where
That was about aliens?
I kind of figured that's what you meant.
This is like 4 kids, and they went to Russia, and aliens end up attacking while they're in Russia. It's just awful. It's just not a good movie at all. This is not that movie. This is like it happens to be kind of a love story, and then it's sort of this like possible love triangle. They're just moving this girl across country, etc. And
Yeah.
then, oh, by the way, aliens. Like that's, I kind of like it. It took me by surprise. You know
Cue
what
the
I mean?
History Channel guy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much obvious what they were trying to do, right?
From the beginning.
Yeah, the director, and well, he also wrote it. trying to just throw you off your scent so you would never know what's coming up next.
Well, yeah, no, totally. Yeah, it's a mystery. Like, that's why I chose it for the mystery category.
Yeah, it's a drama.
It's definitely a mystery.
Well, it's a drama, mystery, sci-fi.
Yeah.
Well, the mystery is still out on the keypad.
The keypad I'll give you, but the rest of it, again, the part that I find still mysterious is the ending. The very, very end. What is going on with the ship? Is it there's a bunch of test facilities, or is it or is it planet Earth? Is it supposed to be planet Earth, and we're all on this alien ship? We don't know it, and if you happen to go into Area 51 because you're summoned there by Damon, by Nomad, then you get tested upon. Like, is that kind of how it works? Like, that's interesting to me.
The other way to look at it is the aliens know that there's a place on Earth called Area 51.
Yeah.
And it's pretty simple for these guys to figure out, okay, these numbers, equate 51, so they still think that they're on Earth.
That's possible.
It's you make the connection. It's like, oh crap, I'm still on Earth, or whatever.
Yeah.
So are we rating it? Is that what you're thinking?
So Eddie, since this was your movie, you get the honor of rating first.
Oh no, I don't know.
Out of a 10, please, sir.
You know what? I just thought about this. We should do this backwards.
Oh, you should rate it.
We should actually
last?
be the last one. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we can. All right.
Because we had John go first last time, but
and I also think we should talk a little bit about it, like why we're rating it, why we're rating it that way.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fine. So
do you want me to go?
Yeah, you go first.
Okay. Should we talk about it first or give the rating first?
Talk about it and then give the rating.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, so I think I'm gonna go with a 5.5 on this one.
5.5.
5.5. Reason being, I was actually gonna go lower, maybe like a 4.5 to 5, until we started talking about it, and then Eddie started explaining a little bit more about the details that I apparently missed. Yeah.
You're not the only one that missed stuff.
Yeah. My biggest concerns, character development.
And remember, Eddie had to watch it like 6 times in order to pick up on it. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's just to pick up the fan theory crap.
Yeah. But
3 times before I had the majority of the movie. Just want to point that out.
3 times.
But definitely the character development, the relationship between all the people. I wasn't a fan of the genre mixing that was kind of going on.
Really?
Like the travel movie beginning, and then the Blair Witch thing all of a sudden in the
Blair
middle.
Witch thing I'll give you.
And it was just kind of too out of left field for me. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
So 5.5?
Yeah,
I like the genre mixing thing though. Go ahead.
All right, so I think my score I don't know, at the very end of the movie, I have like every time I watch a movie in a theater, the credits start rolling, and I'm thinking, how did that make me feel? Like, do I feel like the movie accomplished anything? Do I feel good? Do I feel sad? Did it break emotion with me? And I really did like the ending, and I really did like how they creatively had everything evolve into the ending. And at that point, and of course I love space, it's like, holy crap, this thing's a spaceship. That's freaking awesome.
I did kind of have a shoe in with this one. Go ahead.
But true.
I feel the score coming up.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I mean, I started probably at around a 5.5, but I think after kind of discussing it and everything, it brought up the score probably about 6.2. So I'm going to give it a 6.2.
All right, John.
Okay, so coming in to this movie, I was prepared to give it a 2 or a 3.
Ouch.
But after talking about it and thinking about it some more, and Eddie's vast knowledge of the inner workings of this film, I did like the effects. The effects were really good. I think the filmmaking was up to par with any filmmaker out there right now. I did not like the blatant continuity error right at the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
That took me out of the film right at the beginning.
I just want to say, by the way, 6 times I've seen it. I've never caught that error.
And
I normally catch continuity errors
You're
too,
welcome.
but I didn't catch that one. No, thanks.
Now you will
just
know.
ruined the
Yeah,
movie.
you're welcome.
I'm
Yeah.
going to notice this damn coffee stain the whole time.
That should make your score go down.
That should, right? And I think the love story was poorly done. I think they needed to add about 15 to 20 minutes of character development. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give it a 5.8.
Oh, okay. So we're all pretty close together. So, Eddie, last one.
So I think everything John just said is valid. Like I think that the love story and all that is definitely short. The thing I like about this movie, though, in general, is that it's a science fiction movie, and it's sort of a love story, save the girl kind of movie, but it's neither one of those things perfectly. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you really don't actually know that it's a science fiction movie until the point his legs are uncovered.
True.
Until his legs are uncovered, you're not really sure that this is a science fiction movie. And I've rewatched that part, by the way, whenever they go into the house right before the Blair Witch section, like 10 times. There's no alien in the tree. Just
There
so we're all
is.
clear.
I had to go back and watch it like 5-6 times.
I've looked a bunch. Did
It's
not
in
see
the
it.
negative space.
I did. I know. I looked in the negative space.
I can show you.
You'll have to show me later because I've looked a bunch. I haven't seen
That
it.
was before the footage that.
Before the footage.
Oh, okay.
In the footage.
Oh, okay. I'm talking about in the footage. Yes.
In the footage, it's there.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm talking about in the original, like whenever they first do it in the first
Gotcha.
15 minutes, there's no alien in the tree. So Damon adds that to mess with Nick.
Oh, probably.
Yeah.
I see.
That sucks.
Going,
So
oh, look at these little green men.
exactly, because that's not even how the aliens look. So
Right.
it's
Right.
like, well, what the hell? So he's
Little
doing it.
throwing off the scent there.
Well, no,
Yeah.
he's doing it to increase his stress.
Right.
Because remember, it's all about human emotion and human will. So he's doing it to increase the kid's stress. But I digress. I would probably give it. I'm going to say 6.5.
Okay.
Like a pretty solid 6.5. Because, it's not perfect and it's interesting, but it's not so interesting that I would be like, oh, no, if you don't see that movie, all hell has to break loose. Like, it's a good movie. You know what I mean?
All right.
If you get a chance, it's definitely worth seeing, but I don't think you're going to watch it 6 times like me.
Yeah,
Unless you're crazy.
I always watch these movies, and I'm pretty sure in the future, any movie that you choose or even I choose, I'll try to, even if I've seen it before, I'll try to disregard everything that I've seen before and watch it at that moment, and then critique it based off of that moment in time.
I don't do that, but I know what you mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's just me.
Yeah. No, I end up watching it and I'm like, okay, so it's an alien movie. And then I'm like, well, what other alien movies have I seen?
Oh, God.
And then the list of alien movies runs through my head. What I like is that when that list of alien movies runs through my head with The Signal, none of those movies is like The Signal.
Right.
It's totally
I hear you.
unique.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Which that's cool. I like that.
Yeah. It's kind of like, did you guys ever see Starman with Jeff Bridges? It's from the 80s.
Yeah.
No.
I've
No.
heard of it, but I haven't seen
Okay.
it.
So Starman is kind of like that. Starman, the closest movie I can come up to with Starman is Men in Black. And it is nothing like Men in Black. Like it's nowhere near like Men in Black.
Yeah.
So there's just, there's a weird, every once in a while you get these movies that are standout movies. And that to me, while not being a fantastic movie, does not match the list of quote unquote, all the science fiction movies I've ever seen. And as a mystery, I just think it does a good job.
Yeah.
The whole time you're like, well, what the hell's happening? Oh, he has wires in the back of his head. Interesting. Okay. I think
He's
that's great.
an alien.
So we draw.
All right. Yeah. So with that, that was 2014's The Signal. Eddie gave it a 6.5. Justin, myself, I gave it a 5.5. Kyle gave it a 6.2. John gave it a 5.8, which rounds out to 6 for the Screen Riot.
Wow.
And just so we know, what was
A hard 6.
what was the Stand By Me?
I believe that was a 6.8.
6.8.
Got it.
I think so.
If you really
I can
want me to
see
look it
that.
up, or we can.
No,
cut
it's
this
fine.
out.
It's
Yeah.
fine. I was just curious. 6.8's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was
Roughly.
6.8,
Yeah.
something
It's
like
one
that.
of those.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, so now we're gonna do the spin of fate. I like to call it the spinorama.
So it's just between you and I.
Yeah.
Justin.
So John went first, and then Eddie went next, and so now it's just Kyle and I. So John, let's spin that wheel.
Spin that
See,
wheel.
We need like a.
Oh, here we go.
I already know who it's gonna be.
Who to land on?
Justin.
Justin.
Oh man.
Okay.
I'm always
Let's
last.
see what genre.
All right, so now we're going to spin again, and we're going to see what genre I have to pick from. So drama was dropped off the list, and so was mystery.
Yep.
Yes.
So we cannot do a
So we
drama
cannot
or
do
mystery
either one of
now.
those.
Watch him get science fiction.
I know.
Ready?
If it does,
All right.
I'm picking the signal. No.
All right. Here we
All right,
go.
here we go. Spinning the wheel.
Critique it for the third.
Ooh, there's a lot of categories. What is it?
Comedy.
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 Oh.
Comedy.
All right, so comedy. Okay. So I have a couple here in my mind. There's one. It's so stupid, but it's man, it's just so stupid.
Oh, good.
What is it?
Sounds great. What's it?
It's
gonna
a guilty pleasure,
Oh Lord,
Okay.
starring Michael Keaton,
Okay.
Mr. Mom.
Johnny Dangerously,
Oh,
Johnny Dangerously.
Dangerously.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a period
1982.
piece. Yeah, it's a period piece.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's about him being a
Gangster.
gangster in 1920s
Yep.
New York, I believe.
Okay.
So
Uh,
have you seen it?
I don't think I have.
No.
New York or Chicago?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It might be Chicago.
I think it's Chicago.
I've
'Cause I think
seen
he's
it a
spo-
couple
he-
times,
I
but
think he's
it's
supposed
just-
to be an Al Capone figure.
Yes, yeah, he's supposed to be.
That's
like
why we got to watch the movie
That's right.
to figure out.
Oh, I was ready to do the review now, but okay.
No,
I
no,
understand.
no.
How many times have you watched that?
Yeah,
12?
how many have you done?
32.
Oh my god. We got to wait until next week to review it.
Yeah.
I just want to remind you guys, I lived across the street from a Blockbuster for the most of my life. So, I mean, what I ended up with was a horrible amount of knowledge.
Yeah,
And a wife, apparently,
Oh, that
from
too.
Blockbuster.
Great wife.
the reason I'm just picking this is just because, like I said, it's a guilty pleasure. It's a movie I haven't watched in probably a decade.
Oh, okay.
It's been a long time.
Just to ask, by the way, have you ever seen Oscar with Sylvester Stallone?
No,
Oh my god! If you like Johnny Dangerously, Oscar is.
same kind of.
I would venture to say better
Okay.
because of Marissa Tomei's character in it. It's
Okay.
it's hilarious. It's kind of like a 1940s. When they take the characters and they mix them around, and it's like, oh well, she loves Bill, and Bill's like, oh I love her too, and then somebody else gets introduced, and Bill's like, well I really actually love her, but I have to keep saying that I love this other person. It's a ridiculous movie. It's over the top. That's Oscar.
Okay, so if you want to follow along with the show, go ahead and check out Johnny Dangerously if you're not Eddie and you haven't seen it 32 times already. And then catch up with us next Saturday where we're going to review it.
Hell yeah.
Sounds
All right.
All right. Sounds
So
fun.
see you next time, guys.
Thanks for
See
listening.
ya.
later.